So today I'm going to show you how to make a lemon loaf cake. So this cake comes out quite a lot like a Madeira cake, or rather a pound cake. Except the difference is we won't be using butter in this, we won't be using eggs in this. The density of the cake just comes on its own. Not really sure how, but that's pretty much how it works out. Like I said, it's lemon loaf cake, so put a bit of lemon in there. The name, the loaf name, that gets it from the fact that we're going to be using a loaf tin. So you use a loaf tin to get a nice large volume, dense sort of cake. If you use a thin pan, it sort of spreads it out, gets a different sort of effect. So you really want to use a loaf tin for this one. Only a few ingredients, very basic, very simple stuff. This cake comes out sort of like quite plain, so it's really versatile. You can add any sort of things you want to mix into it, or any sort of flavoured icings or stuff you want to put on top, or because it is rather plain, it goes really good with things like tea and coffee and that sort of stuff. So yeah, like I said, a lot of options with this cake. So that's about all there is to it, so let's get started. Start with mixing bowl. Put in 275 grams of self-raising flour, 200 grams of sugar. Any sugar's fine, I'm using our Castor sugar here. 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And you need the zest of a lemon. So you want a lemon about this sort of size. For like about 10 centimeters long. So that sort of size is good. That should give you about a teaspoon of lemon zest. So put that in. And just sort of combine that just a bit. Okay, now add in the juice of that lemon that you just used for the zest. Put in 100 ml of rice bran oil, or any sort of vegetable type oil will do the same sort of job, and 170 ml of cold water. And just mix this until it's all combined nicely. Okay, now that it's combined, move it up to a high speed and keep it on there for about 2 to 3 minutes or so, just so everything can sort of blend nicely. Alright, that should do that. Now it's time to cook it. Okay, so to bake it, what I've got here is a loaf tin. So this is about 30 centimeters, or actually 25 centimeters by about 10 centimeters. So loaf tin will give this a good shape. So take the mixture and just pour it in. I put a bit of baking paper just to make it easy to lift out, and I've oiled the tin as well. So you can go do that. Put this in. Oops. Okay, that's pretty much it. So cook this in a 190 degree oven for 30 minutes. Poke a knife and see if it comes out clean basically. But 190 degrees at 30 minutes should do the job. So there is the finished result. You can see how the cake's come out. So you can sort of smell sort of a lemon taste to it, which you should be able to. When you taste it, you can taste quite a good lemon taste, which is good. So like you can see here, it's come out, like I said, it's really dense. You can see there, no air bubbles or anything inside, it's really quite dense. Though the cake itself is really soft. The crust is a bit hard, but the cake is really soft, so it is sort of like a loaf. Like a nice sort of bread sort of loaf, even though it doesn't actually taste bready, it's just how it's sort of come out. So, if you would like this to be a bit sweeter, you could put an icing on top. I was going to make a buttercream icing, but I kind of messed it up and it came out a bit too sweet, so I thought didn't really need it. My buttercream icing was just lemon juice, icing sugar, and some margarine mixed together. But there's a lot of options there. You can even go for a sort of like a lemon sugar syrup, sort of drizzled over the top, would also work as well. But it doesn't really need the sugar. Like I said, it is how it is. You can chop it up, eat it with other stuff. It would go great with something like tea or coffee, because how plain it is, so it would go good with that. But I mean, there's really many options you can do with a cake. It's just do whatever you want to do with it. That's pretty much all there is to it. You could adapt this recipe with different citrus. Works quite nicely. Or you could take out the citrus altogether and it's a plain cake if you wanted to. So it's a good base to do a lot of things with because it does come out quite well. As far as cooking times go, you may find, depending on how sort of like small your loaf tin is and how dense the cake becomes, you may need to cook it for a longer period of time depending on that. Or of course a shorter period depending if you've got a slightly thinner tin. So that would adjust based on how you usually cook stuff. So other than that, not much more to it than that, I don't think. You can leave it to cool before you eat it if you like, or you can eat it hot. It doesn't actually really make a difference. It won't break apart or anything. Just be careful when removing it from the tin, of course. But that's about all there is to it. So the best thing to do with cake, of course, is to eat it. So enjoy.